Hello there, and welcome to Hammerman for today, August the 21st. We're starting off on stage 1 looking for our flawless, and I'm not gonna lie, spoiler alert, I took a look at the troop composition before I even chose my base layout, obviously. That's kind of how you're supposed to roll. And I saw tanks and heavies, and I was just like, nope, not gonna happen. And that's okay, and actually I wasn't wrong. Lost a couple buildings off of the first row, and then took out the tanks with gusto? Alright, maybe not gusto, but with something, I'm sure. Which is okay, that's fine, we've always got next week, gonna have to do what we gotta do with the doo-doo and the doo-wops, hickey, hey now. Stage 2, first landing on the right-hand side, obviously into a barrage of all kinds of arsewhoop, and I was actually pretty impressed. Obviously, I do lose a couple of buildings, but then because the second landing was all on the left-hand side, hopefully I know my left and my rights properly, I don't know. For the most part, all things said and done, it was just the first row that we lost buildings out of. I guess we did lose a couple on the very south end with, the second row, but for the most part it was first row problems for my base. First row problems. Sorry, it's not that funny. Anyways, fortunately, once that first row, I guess, gets taken out, it brings the tanks into range of the shock launchers, and the shock launchers and the rocket launchers do what shock launchers and rocket launchers do best, which is wreck up an army. Quite frankly, they rock it up but good. Now, stage 3 has the Grens. It has the crazy Grenadier. Oh, ooh. And obviously I whipped out the Grenadier or anti-Grenadier loadout, and then I realized, oh crud, they're landing tanks first, which is okay because with, all the boom cannons and stuff, it's still also anti-tank, but that means that basically they landed tanks, grenadiers, and medics, and oh man, I was afeared. I was afeared but good, because if there's one thing I've noticed lately, it's that the tanks grenadier medic combo is pretty solid. It does some pretty crazy business, and I was kind of worried that things might go sideways on me. Fortunately, I was able to last through with relatively minor damage and move on to stage 4. Which, I don't know, man. Stage 4 was kind of spotty, because basically what happened is I had the anti-Gren loadout already prepped and whatnot, which is good, but then, it wasn't Grens that were landing first, and, when the warriors hit the sniper towers, the sniper towers aren't going to be able to do very much. Same thing with the boom cannons and whatnot. And then the Grens are in behind it. So, having my normal layout would have been far, far better. But it's okay, because even though I accidentally clicked on defend while I was trying to scope out the troop combination, the OP-ness of my rocket launchers held strong. I am very excited. They are now officially all level 9 or higher. I know. I've been upgrading them this week, and yeah, I'm dying for them to hit, say 13, 14. I feel like they're gonna do way more damage. They're gonna be able to nuke those Hammerman levels where there's 500 Riflemen. I figure, by the time the Riflemen get into the mines and then get into the rocket blasting, it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it. Because, yeah, my defenses still freaking horrible, eh? Alright, now that we've taken down 4, we're going to move on to 5, and I'm not going to lie to you, 5 took me a couple of goes. I needed a few tries. I eventually landed on this base layout, and because the Riflemen are level 19 and have so many hit points, I actually needed to triple up my mines instead of just double up, which is something very new to me because, you know, normally I don't make it that far. But yeah, it was kind of nice with this layout because, as you can see, I'm able to take down the Riflemen fairly quickly. My rockets and shock launchers start doing some serious work on the Grenadiers, but then it pulls everything all the way over to the right. So I've got this little cluster of defensive goodness. It's almost like the nougat filling of the base, just sitting there with the rocket launchers and boom cannons just firing away, picking off defenses, you know, with immunity because everything's ignoring it and trying to follow the path around, which worked out fantastically. It took how many? I can't even remember how many defenses. I want to say like probably 4 or 5 to kind of alter from my normal defensive layout to something more like this. It was just kind of like a bit at a time, rewatching the replays over and over and over. But worked out pretty good. I was very happy with it. And as you can see, thus far, it is quite effective in comparison to the steamrollings that I received first time around. I think like the first time around I had like 150 riflemen remaining and like hadn't taken out a single tank. So with some readjustments and whatnot for from your defensive buildings, even if you're as low level defensively as I am, it works out. And of course, as always, I'm not running any boost, I'm not running any prototypes, and I'm still getting through 5 with a little bit of struggle, but that's okay. That's, you know, a step in the right direction as far as I'm concerned. But this is where I started to get scared, because my rocket launchers are going after the tanks, and I was just like, oh no, because I don't have a lot of hit points left on that HQ, and there are a couple of tanks, and I think they have 12% health and damage. You know what? Actually, come to think of it, maybe it would be helpful if I had some kind of troop stat and or loadout information built into these old Hammerman videos. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's further up there. There's a light bulb up there, I assure you. Anyways, the good news is, as you can see, I've got my triangle of, oh my god, what's gonna give first? I got the clock counting down, I got the HQ with the no hit points, and I got the tank that's very slowly getting pecked away by a bunch of rocket launchers. And I'll give you a hint. It's not the clock that goes first, and it's not my base. That's right, that's a successful stage 5 right there. Just barely, but we made it. And then stage 6 happens, and Hammerman starts tossing freaking critters, and I am not used to that at all. Mwah. Now, I kind of started going through this and thought to myself, hey, I polished off that first round really, really well. I'm pretty excited about that. And then I was like, wow, I'm actually doing pretty good on the second stage. The Scorcher's getting messed up there. Like, it's getting ruined. And then this happened, and I was like, oh, right. There's the rest of the level. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully this has been helpful. Hopefully this has been entertaining. And most importantly, have a great day.